Since we're actually on the subject of world peace and possibly, there might be an elite plan for destruction of a lot of different things to bring about a new world order. I always heard that one. And you know what I think the answer to that is? Marijuana, not just hemp. Marijuana. Not for the population, not for the people. I don't smoke this stuff and never have smoked it. And I'm not against it because I think it's the matter of degree a person does stuff is what makes it harmful or not harmful. I'll interject that here right now because I know a glass of wine every other day is helpful. But if you're going to drink a couple bottles a day, it's very bad for you. Then you become a wino, right? So, some people that are winos would say, oh, that's okay, if you're in a wino. And I guess with marijuana, it's maybe not as bad as drinking excessive amounts of alcohol either. And maybe there isn't a comparison, but this is not my point of this. I think the leaders of the world who are aggressive need to smoke this stuff by the bagful because it calms their nerves and it calms their ambitions. And they'll just feel fine, I'm not talking about the populations. I'm talking strictly about the leaders. People like this guy, Zhirinovsky, he needs to smoke it by the bagful every day. This guy wants to destroy the world. He threatens the West all the time. He's arrogant as all hell, and I don't like him. How's that? Anyway, but I want to throw in an interesting twist. How do you get this guy to smoke marijuana? The same way you probably would with anybody. Get a woman to give it to you. And this group, Femen, is into a lot of different causes. And, they're against Vladimir Putin. They're against the Pope. They're on the side of the New World, Occupy Wall Street. And, I always had a suspicion, or not a suspicion. I always figured they're funded by somebody because no woman actually does all that garbage and goes through all that garbage. Especially with all the makeup and, exposing themselves in public and all the drama. And then they got these lawyers right there on hand to get them out of jail anytime something happens. And they got travel expenses. I'm thinking to myself, somebody's paying them. I know they are. Somebody, someplace. But it told me, but, this article, which is in, I think it's in Ukraine. I couldn't read it for nothing. And this person on YouTube sent me this link. And this was really good. And what you have to do is put it in pieces into Google Translator, and you can kind of read what the heck it's talking about. And it goes on to state, well, it says that this guy is, he's actually behind the group, according to this article, And it kind of makes sense because, I think he's living in the UK right now, and he's, or he was living in the UK. Like Putin kind of got after him in Russia and got after him, so he's not in agreement with Putin. And to tell you the truth, they paint this guy as a bad guy all the time. Well, sometimes. It depends on what news you're listening to. Vadim Rabinovich, if I'm saying his name right, he's Jewish, right? And there's a lot of anti-Semitism in Russia. In some cases, I don't want to get into all that stuff because there's always like some truth to something on each side you look at, and you can get into long, drawn-out arguments. But there is some kind of anti-Semitism in Russia, but I'm not Jewish, so I don't really have any reason to say, hey, I just kind of think fairly. That's all the way it is. I think there is some anti-Semitism in Russia, but Putin basically got rid of him, and he plays this Christian card all the time, and I don't think Putin's a Christian at all. It's just a game he's playing on the masses. He doesn't care about anything except his own money. And they make this guy, his Jewish guy, like he's this big oligarch with billions of dollars and stuff like that. Well, actually, Putin has about 50 times more money than this guy, the Jewish guy. Okay? I mean, they like to paint the picture the other way around. Yes, he's powerful. He's shrewd. And it's good he's shrewd because it's the only way you're going to even get that kind of money, which is a hell of a lot of money. You have to be very shrewd. But, I always thought, there's always a shrewd Jewish businessman behind the scenes that sometimes has a remedy for something. And, the Zhirinovsky obviously isn't a friend of Vadim at all, I'd imagine. Not at all, just like Putin is. The way to get this guy a bunch of weed and get him on weed is to get somebody's over here from Femen giving it to him. And this would be the perfect guy to set that up. You know? I mean, if there's ever a crafty person that could set about and make sure we have world peace through extraordinary shrewd maneuvers, it would be a Jewish businessman. You know, a lot of people like to say they're doing this and they're doing that. Well, I tell you the truth, they're doing a lot of good in the world. You know, I can even state that, you know, you take a guy like Mark Rich, you know, Clinton pardoned with all the oil deals and stuff like that. You know, transactions don't come about due to unwilling parties. It's usually when you got a big bureaucracy and a lot of garbage in the way. You might find a shrewd player that makes the transaction for a cut of the fee to agreeable parties. So a lot of times that's happens to be the Jewish businessman. You know, they do a lot of good in the world. But in this case, I would like to see this guy, if he ever could, you know, get Femen, some of his little Femen devils, angels, devils, whatever the hell they are, to get this guy hooked on a whole pile of weed. Because he'll calm down, and you know what? This guy, I think, is one of the ones that's going to start World War III, or one of the people that are back behind him. You know, I think that might be an idea worth a try, but I don't know. I kind of thought about this, but sometimes I wonder about these guys, man. They're freaking pretty crafty. I always like working with them. I always do. Because I tell you the truth, I think they do a lot of good. They do. They do. But hey, Vadim, if you get some of this weed stuff over to that crazy Russian through some of those feminine girls, I think that would be a smart thing, and it would calm him down and keep his finger off the nuclear button.